So I recently bought something cool, and I'm not just referring to these Back to the Future sunglasses. Something that rhymes with Gornge Schmeimack. Ladies and gentlemen, my Gornge Schmeimack. It's a Tangerine tray-loading G3 iMac, and you know what? I love it. I have 7 of these G3 iMacs. None of them are a functional tray loader. I have one tray loader and that machine will not turn on. While 3 of them are different shades, none of them are the color orange. So this is the very first orange iMac that I have, and I am psyched. I should have taken those off a while ago. So for 100 Canadian dollars, I got this machine with the keyboard and puck mouse. Today we're probably just going to clean it up because this thing is really dirty. I think this one did a little bit of time in the garage prison. So hopefully it still works. The dude said it did work the last time he used it, and then he let it slide that was 10 years ago.
Anything is possible here.
These things are also a major pain in the rear to take apart, and the plastic on them is pretty brittle, so I'm going to try and avoid opening it if I can. Actually, you know what? I think the tray loaders, it's easier to access the logic board. I think there's like a tray underneath this one you can just kind of, pull out the logic board with. Anyway, let's get to it. There is no time better than the present. On the boardwalk. Before we get a copyright strike. Let's get started. Grab a spoonful of quick powder and boil your chestnuts, because it is time to get to work. First things first, let's test this puppy.
Excellent. Excellent.
So a little bit of housekeeping. I live in Canada, obviously, and it snowed. So for the last 2 days, I've had snow clearing equipment in the back lane. If you hear beeping in the background, that's what that's from. So first thing I notice here on the computer startup is that the mouse is not responding, or it's barely responding. But otherwise, the machine seems to be working well. So let's jump into cleaning peripherals. So the keyboard and mouse on this machine looked like they had quite a bit of gross grease on them, as one might say. Mad at me because I can finally afford to provide my family with gross grease. Shout out to my brother who coined that one. And also Dr. Dre. So I theorized the keyboard and mouse just had lots of gunge on them. Also a piece of tape, apparently. But that's why the mouse wasn't working, and while the keyboard was working, you could shake it and hear all the crap inside. The cable was super sticky, it needed to be pulled apart and given a good solid Canadian computer collector deep clean. So, the first step to cleaning out a keyboard is to remove all the keycaps, of course. I was a little aggressive with the spacebar. Luckily I had an extra on hand. Cough, embarrassing. I could have not said anything there, and no one would have been any wiser, but, I have a real honesty policy about me. Especially when I'm working with gross grease. And I'm going to be honest, getting a look inside this keyboard, it looks like CompuLord had spent some time in here, not just living, but eating Cheetos and shaving his legs and just leaving it all over the place. So we're going to have to give it a good vacuum. We're going to have to give these keycaps a good soak. Once again, you can hear a snow removal vehicle in the background using its reverse. Reverse is important. Anyway, while the keycaps soak, we're going to come at this keyboard in between all the rows with some Windex on a Q-tip, and in spots that need it, some isopropyl alcohol, 99%. Not that it really matters in this case, but that's all I had on hand. You could use 91% for this part. Who cares? Use a bottle of vodka. Anyway, don't do that. So, time to wipe off the keys. Each of these gets a good scrub because they had lots of gunge in them. And then afterwards, so that they don't retain water, like me after eating at a buffet, get a good blow with the airbrush. And now it's time to reassemble. This is one of the most satisfying parts of this kind of project, so I don't know, why don't we do something to celebrate the occasion? I've decided to sing a few bars from Regulate by Warren G. So here we go. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume. Some skirts for the eve, so I can get some funk, just rolling in my ride, chillin' all alone. Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All you skirts know what's up with 213. So I hooks a left on the 2-1 and Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice, so I said, let's do this. I jumped out the ride and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some gats, so I said, I'm stuck. Since these girls peeping me, I'm a glide and swerve. These looking so hard, they straight hit the curb. Won't you think of better things than some tricks? I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix. God, I genuinely love that song. Anyway, it's time to move on to some mouse repair. This mouse, I had the sense, was in good shape. It just was hiding under a layer of filth. So I've rolled the mouse ball around in some Windex a few times, just trying to get that surface layer of gross grease off. And in the meantime, I'm pulling apart the plastic pieces. And it's actually a relatively easy mouse to get inside. So you just have to pull these two colored brackets off. They just snap into place. And then it's 2 or 3 screws to get to the inside of it. Of course, we're gonna wipe the ball again. Anyway, a couple screws to get inside the mouse. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And just gotta pry a couple clips up, and here we go. And is that?
What the f?
With the knowledge that the problem with this mouse was connected to the rollers, I took the whole thing apart and soaked all of the plastic pieces. After they'd soaked for a while, it was time to give them a good scrub. Like myself. Comma, a scrub. So like anything that gets washed, we have to blow some compressed air across it to make sure it is dry. Including these fun mouse wheels. Or rollers. Who am I? Where am I? Time to reattach this tiny little spring. Bloop. And we got one. Oh yeah, make sure all that moisture's out there. Yep. There we go. Time to put the board back onto the mouse. The little grommet slides in place. And we can reattach everything back together. Nice, clean, clicky, like teenagers. A few screws into each side, and then you can clip the nice colored pieces back in, drop in the ball, and seal her up. Moving on to the case. Now, Windex did a little bit of work here. There's a lot of dust on the case, but some of the bigger scrapes and stuff, we weren't really able to get all that clean. This one on the corner here got a bit better, but, you know, some of that was just ruined plastic. The screen cleaned up nice, so there's that. You can see some of the white scrapes on this side still. Again, removing the dust does make a difference. I mean, it looks really good. But there are still scrapes, so disappointed a little bit, but the price was right, and it works, so you can't be too picky. These are ancient. Boy, I say the word "so" a lot. Anyway, time to flip it up onto the glass, give the bottom a little wipe, wiping the bottom, and then we're going to get inside and remove the logic board tray, because I would like to do a couple of things here. One of them was to remove thermal paste, but these ended up using thermal pads, so didn't actually touch them, just kind of left it as is. I did replace the battery, though, which you will see shortly. Kind of giving away all the excitement here. I can tell you're excited. I can tell through your television, your phone, your computer, whatever it is you use to watch this. Alright, out comes the logic board. Shigeru schwa. And I much prefer this design to the later revision, the revision B, I believe they call it. So, new battery going in. The revision B has that static cage, where you can just sort of boop, unscrew it and pull it off there. This one, I like the slide out. A lot less of a struggle. You know, it's modular, which everyone likes. Single, great job, you know, real nice. It would make a great partner. Just a little slow. Oh, okay, we're getting into territory I don't want to be in. Alright, couple screws going back in. Just don't forget to connect all your cables or else, how are you gonna see? Yeah, I'm alright. Plastic goes back on after it's been hosed down, so to speak. I gave it a nice wash and some dish soap. Yep, nice tight fit. Yeah, I gotta say, pulling that thing off was scary. Thought I was gonna break it. And a little trap door for the I/O. We can set this lovely machine back up. Plug in the nice clean keyboard that we just washed, as well as the deep cleaned mouse. And I think time to hit that power button. We should get Newman back in here. So now we just wait for this machine to start up, which of course it does, because I did such a wonderful job of not hurting it. Really, I don't know if there's anything I could have done to hurt it in this video. We did some pretty light surface work on it. I just want to make sure that this mouse is actually working, because it was so impossible to use before, and look at that, smooth like butter. Smooth like cow's milk butter. And goat milk. Don't forget goat milk. Well, gang, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for joining us. It's working. It's running 8.6 right now. I cleaned up the mouse and keyboard to a point where they're functional again. I don't really see too much of a reason to go inside. We've already pulled out the logic board. We changed the battery. You know, I did a little bit of kind of voodoo on top of it. Broke the button on one of my pairs of pants this week, so gaining a little bit of weight. If you really enjoyed this week's video, not that it was riveting or thrilling in any way, please hit that like and subscribe button. It's funny because I say it like it's one button when it's two buttons, so please hit both of those buttons. And then also don't forget to check out links to our social in the description, as well as a link to buy me coffee if you're interested in supporting the channel. And I'm very excited to say I ordered my first soldering kit this week, so that's going to be coming in, and things are going to be getting messy and awful. I'm going to try and fix stuff and most likely break it, but that's just the name of the game. I've got my welding glasses ready. I am the Canadian Computer Collector, so we will see you in the future. Or I guess I should have said, we will go back to the future. Oh well. I believe that's from the second Star Wars movie, The Wrath of Empire. Face me, Con Kirk.